Level 1. The grind. You are 22 years old. You live in a windowless, 300 square foot apartment deep in Bushwick, Brooklyn. You share a single bathroom with 3 other roommates. You sleep on a mattress on the floor. The radiator clanks violently in the winter, and the summer heat is absolutely suffocating. You have $50,000 in student loan debt. You eat instant ramen and day-old bagels from the corner bodega. But you do not care about the poverty. You are completely consumed by the glow of your laptop screen. You are building a software startup. You work 90 hours a week. You do not go to parties. You do not date. Your friends from college are out drinking in Manhattan, living their 20s, posting pictures on social media. You mute their stories. You tell yourself that they are playing a short-term game while you are building an empire. You spend your days sending cold emails to venture capitalists and angel investors. You get rejected over and over again. They tell you your idea is too niche. They tell you you lack experience. The rejection is a physical weight on your chest. You start having panic attacks in the shower. You check your bank account. You have exactly $214 left to your name. If you do not close a funding round this month, you are going to have to get a corporate job. The thought of sitting in a cubicle makes you physically sick. You double down. You stop sleeping. You survive entirely on cheap coffee and pure, unfiltered desperation. Level 2, the seed round. You are 24. You finally get the meeting. You take the subway into Manhattan, walking into a massive glass-walled conference room on Sand Hill Road's East Coast equivalent. You pitch your vision to 3 men in tailored suits, wearing Rolexes that cost more than your parents' house. Your hands are sweating. Your voice shakes slightly, but your math is absolutely flawless. 2 days later, the email arrives. They are offering you a $2 million seed round at a $10 million valuation. You stare at the screen until your eyes burn. You sign the term sheet. The wire transfer hits your corporate account. You look at the 7 zeros on the screen. It is an incomprehensible amount of capital, but you quickly realize that the money is not yours to spend. It belongs to the company. You are forced to pay yourself a modest $70,000 salary. You move out of Bushwick into a slightly better 1-bedroom apartment in the Lower East Side. The real change is not your lifestyle, it is the pressure. Before the money, think you were just a kid with an idea. Now you have a board of directors. You have investors expecting a 10x return on their capital. You hire a team of 15 engineers. You are responsible for their mortgages, their health insurance, and their livelihoods. The panic attacks do not stop. They simply evolve. You wake up at 3 a.m., drenched in a cold sweat, terrified that a competitor in Silicon Valley is outworking you. You realize that venture capital is not a gift. It is rocket fuel. And if you do not steer the ship perfectly, the fuel will explode and completely incinerate you. Level 3, the paper millionaire. You are 26. Your startup has exploded. You just closed a Series B funding round led by a top-tier private equity firm. The company is now valued at $150 million. You own 30% of the equity. On paper, your net worth is $45 million. You are officially on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list. You go to the gala, you rent a custom tuxedo, you take photos with celebrities and other young founders. You smile for the cameras. But behind the flashbulbs, your reality is a terrifying paradox. You are a paper millionaire. Your wealth is entirely locked up in illiquid stock. You cannot sell your shares without tanking the company's valuation and triggering a panic among your investors. You are worth $45 million, but your credit card was declined yesterday, trying to buy a $12 salad at Sweet Green. The psychological dissonance is maddening. The media portrays you as a tech prodigy. Random people from your high school who bullied you suddenly message you on LinkedIn asking for jobs or investments. You are treated like royalty in public, but inside the company, the culture has turned toxic. The new investors force you to fire your co-founder, the guy who slept on the floor next to you in Brooklyn, the guy who built the first prototype. You sit across from him in a sterile glass office, and you hand him a severance package. He looks at you with absolute disgust. He calls you a sellout. You do not argue with him. You just look out the window. You are learning that in New York City, extreme success requires a continuous, calculated sacrifice of your own humanity. Level 4, the exit. You are 28. The grueling, soul-crushing marathon finally crosses the finish line. A massive, publicly traded tech conglomerate acquires your startup for $300 million in cash. The deal closes on a Tuesday afternoon. You sign the final closing documents using DocuSign on your phone, sitting in the back of an Uber. 48 hours later, the wire transfer clears. After taxes and investor payouts, exactly $32 million lands in your personal checking account. You open your banking app, you look at the number, 32,000. You have won the ultimate game of capitalism. You never have to work another day in your life. Your children and their children will never know what it feels like to be hungry. You tell the Uber driver to pull over. You step out on a sidewalk in Soho. You expect to feel a massive, overwhelming wave of euphoria. You expect the sky to look brighter. You expect to feel like a god. Instead, you feel absolutely nothing. The adrenaline that has fueled your entire adult life instantly evaporates. It leaves behind a massive, hollow void in your chest. You have spent the last 6 years running at a terrifying speed, chasing a number. Now that you have caught it, you have absolutely no idea who you are without the chase. You walk into a luxury car dealership and buy a $200,000 Porsche 911 in cash, just to feel something. You drive it out of the lot. You sit in Manhattan gridlock traffic. The leather smells nice, but the emptiness inside you is deafening. Level 5, the real estate. You are 29. You decide that the cure for the emptiness is to live the life you always saw in the movies. You become real New York rich. You buy a massive 6,000 square foot penthouse in Tribeca for $12 million. It has floor-to-ceiling windows, a private elevator, and a wraparound terrace overlooking the Hudson River. You hire an elite interior designer who fills the space with imported Italian marble, custom furniture, and contemporary art that you do not understand but pretend to appreciate. You join the exclusive private clubs, Zero Bond, Casa Cipriani. You pay tens of thousands of dollars a year just for the privilege of sitting in dimly lit rooms surrounded by other wealthy people. But you quickly realize that the wealth is an isolator. When you go out to dinner with your old friends, the dynamic is completely broken. When the bill comes, everyone looks at you. If you offer to pay, they feel like charity cases. If you split it, they think you are a cheap billionaire. You start hanging out exclusively with other rich people. But your new friends are not real friends. They are networkers. Every conversation at Soho House is a transaction. They want to know what your next venture is. They want you to invest in their crypto funds. They want access to your capital. You realize that nobody is talking to you. They are talking to your bank account. You sit in your massive $12 million penthouse completely alone. The silence in the giant rooms is terrifying. You hire a private chef, not because you love fine dining, but because you just want another human being in the apartment making noise. Level 6, the paranoia. You are 31. The money has fundamentally rewired your brain. You are no longer focused on making money. You are completely consumed by the terrifying fear of losing it. You set up a family office, a private wealth management firm dedicated entirely to protecting your assets. You hire lawyers, accountants, and tax strategists. They build a complex web of offshore trusts, Delaware LLCs, and shell companies. Your money is spread across hedge funds, municipal bonds, and real estate portfolios. But the real paranoia is personal. You try to date. You go on dates with models, actresses, and young professionals. But every time a woman looks at you, you wonder what she actually sees. Does she see you? Or does she see the penthouse, the Porsche, and the summer house in the Hamptons? Before things get serious with anyone, your lawyers force them to sign a non-disclosure agreement. You sit across a candlelit table at an expensive omakase restaurant in the West Village, and you slide a 50-page legal document across the table. You watch the light die in their eyes. The romance is instantly killed by the brutal, clinical reality of asset protection. You stop taking the subway. You hire a private driver who is a former NYPD detective. He drives an armored Cadillac Escalade. He carries a concealed weapon. You tell yourself it is for security because you are a high net worth individual. But the truth is, you just want a barrier between yourself and the rest of the city. You look out the tinted windows at the people walking on the street. They are struggling. They are stressing about rent. You are completely insulated from their reality. You have bought your way out of the human experience. Level 7, the philanthropist. You are 34. The toys do not work anymore. You have spent summers in Saint-Tropez. You have flown on private Gulfstream jets. You have bought watches that cost more than most people's homes. The dopamine receptors in your brain are completely burned out. A $1,000 dinner feels exactly the same as a slice of dollar pizza. You decide to buy the one thing you do not have. Legacy. You pivot to philanthropy. You start a massive charitable foundation. You donate $5 million to a prestigious New York hospital. In exchange, they put your name in gold letters on a new pediatric wing. You attend the Black Tie Gala at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. You wear a custom Tom Ford tuxedo. You rub shoulders with old money billionaires, politicians, and celebrities. But as you stand in the grand hall, sipping rare champagne, you see the absolute hypocrisy of it all. You listen to billionaires talk about saving the environment before they board their private jets that burn thousands of gallons of jet fuel. You see politicians taking checks from people they publicly criticize. You realize that charity at this level is rarely about helping people. It is a status game. It is a massive, multi-million-dollar PR machine designed to launder the reputations of ruthless capitalists. You smile for the cameras. You shake hands with the mayor. But inside, you feel sick. You have reached the absolute apex of New York society. You are sitting at the table with the masters of the universe. And you realize that every single one of them is just as empty and terrified as you are. Level 8, the ghost in the machine. You are 40 years old. You are sitting in the private lounge of a helicopter terminal on the East River. You are waiting for your Sikorsky to take you to your massive oceanfront estate in East Hampton. You look at your phone. You have hundreds of unread messages, CEOs wanting advice, politicians asking for donations, beautiful people wanting access to your lifestyle. You are one of the most successful young men in the history of New York City. You have beaten odds that are statistically impossible. Your net worth has compounded. You are worth over $100 million. But your physical health is a disaster. You rely on Ambien to fall asleep and modafinil to wake up. Your stomach is constantly tied in knots from the chronic stress of managing a massive portfolio. Your last serious relationship ended 2 years ago because she told you that you were physically present, but emotionally completely dead. You walk out onto the helipad. The blades of the helicopter are spinning, creating a deafening roar. You look back at the Manhattan skyline, the towering skyscrapers of glass and steel. It is the most competitive, ruthless, and magnificent city on the planet. Millions of people move here every year, packed into tiny apartments, working terrible jobs, dreaming of standing exactly where you are standing. They think that the money is a key that unlocks absolute freedom. But you know the terrifying truth. The money is not a key, it is a padlock. You built a massive multi-million-dollar machine thinking it would set you free. But you did not build a machine, you built a cage. A beautiful, gold-plated, impenetrable cage. You cannot trust anyone. You cannot relate to anyone. You are a king, living in a fortress, completely disconnected from the world you conquered. The helicopter lifts off the pad. You rise above the city. You look down at the millions of people swarming in the streets below like insects. They are all chasing the exact same dream that ruined you. You close your eyes and lean your head against the glass. You have absolutely everything a human being could ever desire, and you have never, ever felt more alone.